The NASCAR Camp World Truck Series kicks off their season at Daytona National Speedway, and we see clean but also chaotic racing, kind of a crazy but an anticlimactic finish, and we see Fox not put on great coverage, and we see Ford continue their domination this weekend at Daytona. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the Truck Series race at Daytona. The next Air Energy Resources 250, we're going to talk about the race. So, for the green flag drop, a couple people had to go to the rear of the field. For the race, Tate Fogel and Austin himself had to go to the rear of the field for unapproved adjustments, and Timmy Hill would also have to go to the rear as well. Parker Kligerman, Timmy Hill for an engine, and Parker Kligerman, who missed driver intros. So, on the start of the race, you have Ty Majeski on the inside and John Hernimacek on the outside, and we would see Ty Majeski take the race lead and pretty much dominate the early portion of this race. We see a lot of craziness and aggressive racing pretty much in the early portion of the race, but around lap 13 of the race, we started seeing all the cars go single file as they try to make it to the end of stage number 1. And then with 2 laps to go in stage number 1, we would see the first move be made of the race. John Hernimacek and all 3 of the Kyle Busch Motorsports cars decided to team up against Ty Majeski, and John Hernimacek would go on the outside of Ty Majeski to take the race lead. Coming off the corner, John Hernimacek will come off the corner and win the first stage of 2021. Meanwhile, Tate Fogleman, who was having a pretty decent run in 14th position, he had a flat tire going to turn number 3, got sideways, and literally nearly spun out, but had an incredible save in this race. So, pit stops ended up taking place right after that on lap 23, with John Hernimacek leading the guys down pit road. And we see a little bit of contact take place on the pit road between Corey Heim and Dean Thompson. Corey Heim was up front contending for the lead early portion, and unfortunately for Corey Heim, he got some damage after contact with Dean Thompson. Dean Thompson also get damaged, and this would affect him later in this race. So, on the restart, you have John Hernimacek on the inside and Stuart Friesen on the outside, and John Hernimacek was able to keep the race lead, but Stuart Friesen was able to get it back a few laps later, and then Stuart Friesen was able to get clear, and then Ty Majeski got extremely aggressive a few laps later, and he was able to get the race lead, and then we started seeing a lot more aggression as well near the end of stage number 2, with guys like Derek Kraus and Tyler Ankrum making really, really aggressive moves, and we nearly had a wreck on lap 38, but for Tyler Ankrum and Derek Kraus. 2 laps to go in stage number 2, we see Dane Thompson slow down the backstretch with a flat tire, was able to get off the track onto the apron with John Hernimacek leading. And then John Hernimacek started having a challenge from Ben Rhodes with ThorSport. Ben Rhodes started really poorly in this race, but he got up to the front. And John Hernimacek holds off a hard turning Ben Rhodes in a really good photo finish in stage number 2, and he wins both stages here at Daytona. So, then we see the leaders come down pit road with Colby Howard actually taking 2 tires, and he was able to get the race lead. And then Ty Majeski was really fast early in the race, had one of the cars to beat. He radios under caution. He has some radio problems and some potential engine issues that unfortunately would take him kind of out of contention this race, even though he never really fell out. He kind of fell out of contention. So on the restart, because Colby Howard took strategy, he had the lead on the inside and Zane Smith on the outside, and Colby Howard was able to get the race lead. And then we see Corey Heim after a while, because we eventually see Colby Howard dominate. We see Corey Heim basically slow down the apron for a flat right front tire, was able to keep going. And then a few laps later, with 37 laps to go, the first major incident of the race happened. Jack Wood was battling everything around 28th position, and he would hit the outside wall really, really hard, bringing out the 3rd caution of this race. And then we see the leaders come down the road, basically taking only fuel. The couple guys siding taking 2 and 4 tires, and we all see Tanner Gray unfortunately get a speeding penalty. On the restart, I have John Hernimacek on the inside and Colby Howard on the outside. And Colby Howard was able to lead for a little bit. Then Tyler Ankrum got the lead. And then Colby Howard got the lead. And John Hernimacek got the race lead and dominated the next portion of this race. And it looked like it was going to be straightforward. These guys started getting single file at this point, trying to click off laps to make sure they got to the end. And then technically with 21 laps to go in this race, we would see the next big wreck happen, where Corey Heim getting into the outside wall with his cut tire. And unfortunately, this would take him out of the race. And then we see the leaders come down, stay out on the track, while a couple guys like Blaine Perkins, Derek Kraus, and Stuart Friesen decided to come down pit road to take tires. So on the restart, 16 to go, you have John Hernimacek on the inside on the restart, and Ben Rhodes on the outside. And John Hernimacek had the race lead, and then we would see a multiple car wreck that would end up taking place between Jason White, who spun on the backstretch, unfortunately collecting Tate Fogleman and Chris Wright. Those guys got damaged in the wreck. They got a ton of damage. They unfortunately fell out of the race. And then on the restart with 11 laps to go in this race. You have John Nemechek on the inside and Ben Rhodes on the outside. And Ben Rhodes got a really good restart and was able to get the race lead for a little bit. And then the racing started getting very, very aggressive with Christian Eckes actually able to get the race lead with around 5 laps to go from John Hunter. And we see Ben Rhodes unfortunately fall back. And then with 3 laps to go in this race, we see Austin Hill get into the outside wall hard. I thought a caution was going to come out, but NASCAR decided to not throw a yellow. And then with 2 laps to go in this race, we had all the field together. There was a lot of chaos, a lot of battles brewing, a lot of pushes happening. With 2 laps to go, the big one struck in the race. Tyler Ankrum got a really, really big run, and Christian Eckes, who had the race lead coming off his win in Las Vegas last year, driving full-time for ThorSport. Tyler Ankrum gets a really good run, and unfortunately gets hit, I believe, by John Hunter. Also clips Christian Eckes as well, and everybody ends up, unfortunately, getting involved in this big wreck. All the leaders, except a couple of them. The only ones that got through, I think, in the front were Christian Eckes, Parker Kligerman, Zane Smith, and Ben Rhodes were the only ones to get through. Meanwhile, Derek Kraus, Grant Enfinger, Tyler Ankrum, Austin Wayself, Chandler Smith, Haley Deegan, Loss Allen, Colby Howard, Matt Kent, Crafton, Jess Little, Spencer Boyd, and Blaine Perkins would all come out and basically bring the caution out, be involved in the wreck. And then with the caution coming back out, they decided to go ahead and red flag the race. And then they brought the caution lights back out, and we see the restart with 2 laps to go in this race with Christian Eckes on the inside and Zane Smith on the outside. Now, I'll tell you truthfully, I thought they threw the white flag at one point when we had the race review, and basically the caution lights were on before they took the white flag by literally a second. Had they gone one more second, they would have been able to go ahead and make it to the checkered flag. So then we got to the restart, Christian Eckes on the inside and Zane Smith on the outside. And Zane Smith will get an incredible push on the restart from Parker Kligerman and is able to clear. Coming to the white flag is Zane Smith on the inside and basically was able to come to the white flag. And then as they got across the line by about a second or two, we would see the final caution in the race happen on the last lap. Chris Wright had some content from Jason White. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving going on in the back of the field. And Chris Wright, unfortunately, collected Jason White. And this would bring out the last caution of this race. And because of that, because it was the last lap with the white flag being out, the race was official. And now Zane Smith is able to pick up his, I believe, his 3rd or 4th career NASCAR Camping World Truck Series victory and his first win of the season from our motorsports. This is the first time since 2018 that a Toyota has not been able to go to victory lane. The last time a Toyota did not win this race was 2018 with Johnny Sauter, and Zane Smith won. Huge congratulations to Zane Smith. I'll be perfectly honest, Zane Smith has absolutely struggled at Super Speedways, but Front Row is a team that can perform very, very well at Super Speedways. So major congratulations to Zane Smith. Very happy for him, and it's good to see at his new team, he's already as plus he failed inspection, that he will be locked into the playoffs. Huge congratulations to Zane Smith on picking up his first victory of the season. So now let's look at the results. Zane Smith picks up the victory. Ben Rhodes finishes second, starting off the year very strong like he did last year. Last year he won this race, and I thought he was going to have a chance to win the race overall. But a second-place finish regardless for Ben Rhodes. Very strong run. Christian Eckes finishes third. Very strong for Christian Eckes. His truck looked really, really good throughout the race. Had a top 5 truck most of the night. Probably would have won the race had it probably stayed green. Had a shot because he and Ben Rhodes were there together. But a third-place finish regardless. Good run for him. Tanner Gray finished fourth. I thought Tanner Gray actually got third in the race. I guess they classified him back to fourth. But Tanner Gray with the top 5 regardless, especially after his speeding penalty. Very strong run for him. He finishes in fourth. In fifth place, Parker Kligerman. Parker Kligerman was the last car to get into the field today, and he finishes in the top 5. Parker was up front the whole entire race, did very well. I think Parker's going to be really good, especially on a Super Speedways. I thought he was overall going to have a shot to overall win this race, but a good run for Parker Kligerman regardless. He finished 5th. Jesse Little finished in 6th. Very strong run for Jesse Little. He made a really good strategy call early in the race to get out of the big pack, and it really helped him out because he was able to really stay out of the big ones. He finished in 6th. Ty Majeski finished at 7th despite the damage. Gets a top 10 finish in this race. Good run for Ty Majeski. Really needed that good run and great start to the year. Led his first laps in his Truck Series career. I think Majeski is going to have a great year this year at ThorSport. He finishes at 7th. Danny Bone finished 8th, get a top 10 run for Young's Motorsports. Very strong run for them. Carson Osbar finishes 9th. No show all day, but I think he was just trying to hang back and conserve stuff. Good run for him. He finishes 9th. And Matt DiBenedetto finishes 10th with Rackley War Racing. First top 10 for Matty D in the Camping World Truck Series. Let's be real, Matty D was a no-show. He ran 27th, 28th most of the race. I think he was just trying to conserve just in case a big wreck happened so the team could be up front. Kept it clean all race. Finishes 10th. Good start of the year for Matty D, though. Spencer Boyd finished 11th, top 15 run, not too bad for him. Riley Herbst, who was involved in that big wreck, he finishes 12th, solid run for Riley Herbst, who I believe will be his only truck start this year. Austin Mazel finishes 13th, not a bad run. Timmy Hill finishes 14th, not a bad run for Timmy Hill. Austin Hill finishes 15th. Austin Hill at one point was lap down, so a nice comeback for him to finish in the top 15. Stuart Friesen finishes 16th, not a bad run. Stuart Friesen had a really good truck, but also his truck was way aggressive in this race. Haley Deegan finished 17th. Haley Deegan ran top 15, the top 16 most of the race. Kept her car clean until the end of the race in that big run. She probably would have finished in the top 10 and not been for the wreck, but she still finished 17th. I think it's her first finish in a super speed race so far, so good job for her. Fat Moffitt in the 43 truck that was really beautiful. He finished his in 18th. Saw a top 20 run for him. Chris Wright finishes 19th. Jason White finishes 20th after the crash. Chandler Smith, after having a good truck, he unfortunately got involved in that big wreck. He finishes in 21st. 22nd place finish for Tate Fogelman. 23rd for Brian Doza. He finished a lap down. He was nowhere to be seen, but he stayed on the track. John Nemechek, probably after having, I think, the best truck. I think John Hunter actually had the best truck in this race. But unfortunately, like I mentioned, he got involved in that big wreck and took him out of contention. Walsall finishes in 25th. Derek Cross finishes 26th. Matt Cratton finishes 27th. Tyler Ankrum 28th. 29th for Grant Enfinger, who I thought was going to win the race tonight. He finishes 29th. Colby Howard finishes 30th. Colby Howard was definitely the standout star of the race. He had a really good truck, led a lot of laps. I think he led the second most laps of anybody in this race. So good run for him. Well, not a good run, but he had a good start of the race, but unfortunately fell back. Blaine Perkins finishes 31st. Corey Ide finishes 32nd after his tire problems. Jack Wood finishes 33rd. 34th for Johnny Sauter. 35th for Brett Holmes after wrecking in the race. And Dean Thompson finishing last and 36th. So now let's go ahead and go through basically now talk about the overall race in this whole. And we're going to talk about some of the things, other things I want to talk about. Race is actually pretty decent in my opinion. The early portion of the race was really, really good. It didn't unfortunately get single file, but I think these guys are just trying to click off laps so they were going to be able to make it to the checker flag. So that really wasn't a bad thing. They were clicking off laps, trying to make it to the end, and that was not a bad thing. But there was especially stage 1 was okay. Stage 2, really, really good. Great racing throughout, maybe till the end, but really, really great racing throughout the pack with it being a shorter race. Stage 3, beginning was a little bit clean, then the field started getting sacked up again, and the racing started getting really, really good, especially near the end of the race. And we saw kind of an unfortunate anticlimactic finish with that caution coming out late. I get why NASCAR threw the yellow because of safety purposes and stuff. Man, it would have been cool to see them come back and try to go for the win, but it is what it is, and it is what it is. And unfortunately, I had to throw a caution. It was the right call, in my opinion. It is what it is. I wish they didn't throw it, but again, NASCAR had to make a call. And in my opinion, it was the right call that NASCAR decided to make. For me, my score of this race, I'm going to give this race overall, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Pretty decent race, in my opinion. It's a good racing throughout. I enjoy the Truck Series race, and hopefully this truck race will be a good telltale sign of what this weekend's going to be like, especially with the Cup Series race and Xfinity Series race here over the next couple days. Before I leave this episode, I want to talk about a couple other things. Fox Sports, what the hell? Your coverage, once again, absolutely has been trashed. There's not been one race that Fox has done so far that's been good. The duels, they made a ton of mistakes. They didn't show basically the battle for the last transfer spot really in the race. They couldn't do it in the second one because Gray Biffle was 2 or 3 laps ahead. But they didn't show that. They also did really bad camera shots at the duels. The Busch Clash, they had a lot of problems there. And also some other races that they've done have been absolutely horrendous. I will say the people doing the broadcasting have done a good job. I'm talking about the guys in the booth. They've all done a really, really good job, except the Truck Series race. Vince Walsh, not a good commentator. Kurt Busch is good. Michael Waltrip is Michael Waltrip. He's not really that great. Also, full screen commercials. You don't have full screen commercials at Daytona, especially in 20-lap stages. You had 2 commercials in the first 15 laps of the race. That's absolutely ridiculous. And another thing I want to talk about here is the front stretch interviews. I thought we were going to be done with those, especially after the Let's Go Brandon situation at Talladega last year. Didn't we not learn from last year to not do that because we don't want another situation like that? I thought these damn TV people would stop doing these front stretch interviews. They've got to stop. I know, and again, I know why they do it sometimes, but at the same time, after the Let's Go Brandon situation, they need to go away, in my honest and sincere opinion. So, anyway, that is even my Truck Series view from Daytona International Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notification on be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links are below over that, and comment your thoughts on tonight's race. What are your thoughts on tonight's race? Let me know you're below, and let me know your score in the comments below, and congratulate Zane Smith on picking up his first victory of 2022. Let me know in the comments below. We've got 2 more races this weekend. We've also got a starting grid video that's dropping on the channel tomorrow morning that you can check out. We've got the Xfinity Series race that's dropping, review that's dropping later in the evening, and we're going to have the Cup Series review for the Daytona 500. And I've got something special that's coming on Monday that I think you guys are going to enjoy. I'll probably tell you right after the Xfinity Series race. I'm planning to record that video here right after the Xfinity Series race. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some very awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.